I wanted to kind of just let you know, first of all, that we had a meeting, and we're going to go through this a little bit here, but we had a meeting in December with the PackML committee, and we've been working on this for a while. Actually, going back to Kirk Weiss and the MES definitions committee, we've been working on trying to close some of the gaps with the PackML that was preventing some of us from moving forward with implementing it. So this has been a work in progress for quite a long time, and what we're trying to do is actually drive it to closure, because several years ago there was a lot of efforts made at editing this document to bring in the additional clarification and simplification and missing information that we needed to fully give us the plug-and-play capability on our packaging machines. And unfortunately, that work, that really good work that was done, never got pushed to closure. So what we did is we tried to pick up the ball on that and kind of finish that work, if you will, simplify it even more, provide better clarifications, and now we want to finally push it to closure so that we can move forward with it. All right, so the point of this discussion is to provide awareness of the changes. I want to seek additional feedback because we've got all of this information posted on our SharePoint, which I'll go through in a minute, and we've gotten a lot of feedback, but I'm not sure that we've gotten all the feedback from all the people that we need to see this. And so I want to make sure that we've given everybody an opportunity to see that, because we had a meeting with about maybe 20 people. So not everybody is aware that this is out there and ready for review. Then I want to request approval for the recommendations and then define next steps. Okay? So real quickly, what is PackML? This is a slide that Dan Amundsen from P&G had provided a couple of years ago, actually. And so this just kind of showing you, and Elko already went through most of this, so I'm not really gonna touch on this. But the common operational look and feel, standard information to and from machines, and modular coding. So the whole point, in my mind anyway, is to provide better system integration so that everything is seamless, and make it so that we're not spending so much time and money integrating our machines so that we can have quicker vertical startups. So when we had this meeting, it was in Atlanta in December, as I mentioned, and special thanks go out to B&R for hosting that. They did a really nice, very professional job of hosting it, and the good thing I would like to share with everybody was that, you know, without singing too much wonderful praises for B&R, but you know, the neat thing about it was they hosted this, and we had people from all their competitors in the same room with them and everything, and it was a very good session from that perspective. You don't see competitors sitting in the same room sharing ideas and working together on the same thing very often. So our main goals were clarification, simplification, and then our end state is to provide usability and adoption of PackML. So right now, speaking purely from Pepsi's perspective, we have not been in a position to be able to specify this to our OEMs, because we're not ready with our integrators yet, because there were some key missing pieces of the puzzle. Primarily, blocked and starved was really stopping us because we didn't have a real clear definition on what constituted blocked and what constituted starved, and we really needed that for our OEE data collection systems. So what is our updates? PackML, we proposed changes. Following modifications are proposed. We added additional information to clarify the state model. Pack tags have been recategorized to show the necessary and optional tags. So the point is there's hundreds and hundreds of tags, and it was probably misunderstood from many OEMs that we don't need every single last one of those tags. This is just all the tags in the library that you need. And so what we did is we said, well, to get us just the basics of what we need, what is the bare minimum set of tags that we would need just to get us started on this journey? So we tried to do that, and we said, so we tried to set up, here's all the tags, here's the mandatory tags, and then the optional ones. Then additional pack tags, as I said, like blocked and starved, and there were a few others that were added to improve the line integration. And a lot of that was just based on feedback from integrators who've been trying to implement this, so it was really good to have everybody in the room talking about all that. And the overall document was significantly simplified. There was pages and pages and pages that listed application examples, how to implement this with OEE, this sort of thing, which was really good information, but it really didn't quite fit in the standard. It kind of fit more in a appendix. So in order to simplify the standard itself, we wanted to try to trim out some of that overhead, if you will, and then have an implementation guide that showed all these examples of how to implement it. Okay? So I went through that, and I got to apologize to everybody in advance. I have been swamped at work and didn't have a chance to really put a whole lot of meat into this. But what I thought would be helpful would be we've got a PowerPoint, I'm sorry, a SharePoint, where we've been soliciting feedback and taking all the information and tracking it in this SharePoint document. So if you haven't seen this yet, I'm going to show you this, because every single one of these, there's about 50 different proposed changes in here. And you see on the right there, it shows the status. Some of them are under review, some of them we talked about and then rejected, and then some of them are submitted. Those are the statuses that we have there. And then it shows the date that it was last updated. So 12/4 you're going to see a lot of, because 12/4 was the day we were in Atlanta working on this. But then there was some additional ones that came in later. And this is where I'm saying, if you don't have access to this website, please let us know, because we do want the feedback. I want to have everybody have an opportunity to weigh in on this, so that we're really only going to get one chance every couple of years to update this. So we want to do it right. We want to do it right the first time, and then we want to move forward. Okay? So I am not going to read every single last one of these, but I want you to be aware that it's there. Okay? So I'm going to quickly go through these. Let me know if you see anything in here that brings any alarms to you. Okay? And then let's get you access into here so that you can provide the feedback. And then what my plan is moving forward is to go through all of this, and I apologize, we haven't done this yet, but we've got an edited version of the document that's the proposed changes out there on this SharePoint site right now. And what I plan to do is go through each and every last one of these and then make the changes to the document according to what these suggestions were, and then we want to go through for approval of this. Okay? So some of this, go ahead.
I think John Dart did that already.
Yes, he did.
It's posted.
It is posted. What's going on? And good question, Dan. Good point. So what's going on is we posted the recommended edits out of that meeting from the 4th. That document hasn't been edited since then. So there's been additional feedback that, like for example, Kirk said, wait a minute, that section you're proposing to strike, I use that stuff all the time. And so we're going to leave that in. But in the document that's on there right now, Dan, it's still stricken. Okay? So we need to go back to that document, revisit it, and then take all of these all this feedback, and implement it into the document, and then finalize the document, and then move forward. Does that make sense? Okay. So like clarifying suspended and held, we trust me, we beat down a lot of these things for sometimes hours. So it looks like just a few bullet points here, but there was a lot of work behind each of these. And when you click, we're not online here, but when you click on each one of these, it goes into detail behind it with explanations. So I encourage you to go in here and read through it all, and then please give us additional feedback. Okay? Let's see if there's anything I wanted to really talk about. Simplifying adoption was a big one. You see in the parentheses where it says Goal 1 and Goal 2? So back at the beginning of this slide, I said we had a clarification and a simplification one. So Goal 1 was clarification, and Goal 2 was simplification, I think. So we've got kind of in parentheses there which one of those goals this was addressing. So you'll notice in here some of them said we're going to take this whole section out. Okay? So just please go through this and let's look at it. Cleaning up highlighted text. Some of it was just cleaning up typos. So some of it was really basic, really obvious stuff that was a no-brainer. Others required some debate and let's figure out a better way to make things happen. Okay, the 5-year vision. So thank you very much, Dan. This is probably the best slide in the presentation. In this meeting, we sketched out on dry erase board, or not, but flip charts here, and we kind of broke up into teams and whatnot. And we said, well, if we could, as a team, define what the cover of a Packaging World magazine would look like in 2017, after we've done this journey for a while, what would that look like to everybody in the room? And so we kind of sketched up some things here, and there was like 4 of these breakout sessions. So we're going through each one of them here, and you see how every one of them kind of has a little common theme here. We want our machines to all talk seamlessly, and so all these crisscrossing lines, and there's pack tags being exchanged and whatnot, okay? And then PackML does for packaging what USB did for PCs. That's a huge headliner right there, and the analogy is we want plug-and-play packaging machines. So we've got USB that lets you connect multiple different brands of peripherals to the same computers seamlessly. You plug it in, it just pops up and says, I recognize you, and now you're online. Well, we really want that for our packaging machines too. And obviously we're not there yet. But when we do get there, life will be beautiful. Okay, so this was the 4 of them. And then, wow, you actually had some cool animation in there, Dan. There we go. So Packaging World took and mocked up what that cover would look like for us. And you see the theme down here on the, which one's the laser pointer there? So you see the theme down here, one-stop shopping for packaging performance, mix and match control platforms, and frequent machinery buyers earn valuable rewards. So these are like headliners. And so you guys see where the vision is going here? I mean, we really want this to take hold, and we don't think it's going to take hold if we don't really simplify and clarify things a little bit better. Because when I was trying to have some of our OEMs deliver this to us, I got a lot of pushback from them. They were like, well, we tried it, we got the state model on there, and I went into just one of our brand new machines just last week. They said they were OMAC compliant, and I see the state model, but then there's no buttons that do anything. And I'm like, okay, what is this? Just a pretty little graphical display? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, we're not really OMAC compliant then, are we? And they're like, well, no, not really. We so it's like, and this was a major vendor too. I'm not going to name names, but it was a major supplier. So it's like, we hear from the suppliers, yeah, we're OMAC, and then you get in their PLC code and you see a little OMAC file, and so there's all this little breadcrumbs, if you will, that make you think that it's there. But then when you really take the time to dig underneath that hood and peel back the layer of the onion, you see there's really not everything that you need. The machine isn't being controlled by this. The tags aren't all defined. It's not doing what you want it to do. So, okay, so we're getting there, but this is the future. This is a 2017 vision, okay? All right, so what are our next steps? As I mentioned before, we want to take all this SharePoint feedback. We want to update this document, which is in edited mode right now and online. And then we want to move forward for approval to update the formal TR-88 document. And we want to utilize PackSpec to help end users better specify this for their OEMs. Okay, so that's actually what I'm really looking forward to as Pepsi anyway, because again, I mentioned earlier, we haven't been able to specify this to our vendors yet. And our engineering group is very embedded with some of their system integrators to the point where they kind of just write the purchase order and trust them to just make it all go away. Well, this is this weeks and weeks and weeks of system integration time. You buy all your machines, and then we spend weeks just trying to get them to talk to one another. But this is modus operandi for the Pepsi engineering group right now. And so this is a huge culture change that I'm about ready to embark with them. And I keep saying but we, as Pepsi, can't move forward with a major culture change like that until it's buttoned up enough that I'm confident that it will work. So that's why I've been hesitating to make any of this happen. Okay?